Hey there, and welcome to another DashFight video. I'm Jammers. Now, character designs are an aspect of fighting games that are extremely divisive, as some take it way too seriously, whilst others ignore it to their detriment. Designs aren't the be-all and end-all of a character, but they do contribute to who the character is. And if you like game lore, like I do, even though I tend to be too lazy to read it all, a character's design really deepens their story and enriches the gaming experience, in my opinion. So, character designs in Street Fighter. Over the last 35 years, Capcom's most iconic fighting game has churned out an absolute storehouse of characters. And we've had some pretty iconic looks over that time. We've also had some atrocious ones. I can't. But in this video, we'll be looking at the most iconic character designs over Street Fighter's long existence. Before I go on, I'd like to stress that this is by no means an official list, as the appreciation of art is entirely subjective. So it is entirely possible that you will not agree with every entry on this list, but you can totally give your opinion in the comment sections. That would be most welcome. Also, our design choices will be limited to a particular Street Fighter iteration. So for instance, if I pick Ryu, it'll be Ryu from Street Fighter 2. This is because character designs change between games, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. Let's start our list with the literal president of the world. G was first introduced in Season 3 of Street Fighter V, and one glance at him was all it took. G is an enigma, and he stands out immediately. His flamboyant attitude and natural charm make him a very intriguing character. As for his design, you can see almost immediately what the developers were going for, as his appeal does have a heavy American slant. He wears a top hat along with a black string bow tie and a long waistcoat. On closer inspection, you'll see that G also has some gold patterns under his eyes and around his arms. It was later revealed that this is the map of the world that rotates around him. He has a distinctive face with a long beard and mutton chops. He bears a distinct resemblance to Abraham Lincoln. And get this, Abe Lincoln used to be a wrestler before he went into office, which is just an intriguing tidbit about G. But what has fascinated people the most is his resemblance to another character. Here, take a look at this second costume. Remind you of anyone? Yes, G and Q do look similar and even share the same moves. However, there are also discrepancies in their moveset which suggest that G might be something or someone entirely different. However you want to slice it, G looks cool, and he is definitely one of the better character designs we've seen from Street Fighter.
Become DashFight supporter on Patreon. Get a chance to win a pro player coaching session. Click the link in the description.
There are a few characters that have captured the fancy of fans, quite like Juri Han. She made her debut in Street Fighter 4 and was the first Korean fighter to feature in the game. Also, she was the first out-and-out evil female character in Street Fighter. Juri has maintained her popularity throughout Street Fighter 5 and has already been confirmed as a returning character for Street Fighter 6. One look at Juri and you can see the emphasis on her sensuality. But this was not a careless design choice, but one that plays on her character. Juri wears a purple dodo, a Chinese apparel traditionally worn as an undergarment. Juri has straps that connects to the top of her back in the shape of a spider. The spider motif is also a hint at her rotten personality, as Juri is a sadist. She also wears a black and purple belt with a skull-shaped buckle and white baggy pants. Her pants are a visual delight as they point to her feet, being her primary source of attack. The baggy pants also de-emphasize the size of her feet, which are huge. Just as with all Street Fighter characters, Juri's sensuality and the use of her feet have garnered her something of a following, as she now is the proud leader of a foot fetish cult. Also, something to note is her weird hairstyle that looks like horns and is another nod to her personality. Not everyone likes Juri, but that's the point. Her Street Fighter 5 design, while good, is nowhere near as iconic as her Street Fighter 4 design, but from what we've seen with Street Fighter 6 so far, it seems that Juri is going back to her iconic design from Street Fighter 4, and you'll get no complaints here. As far as villains come, Akuma is one of the most terrifying you'll ever come across. That might seem strange to say, but can you imagine coming across someone like Akuma in an alley late at night? Akuma is the nemesis of Ken and Ryu's master, Goken. He was first introduced in Street Fighter 2 Turbo and would appear in Street Fighter 3rd Strike, Street Fighter 4, and Street Fighter 5. There is some speculation that he could wind up in Street Fighter 6, but that remains to be seen. Design-wise, Akuma is brilliant. He wears his hair in a top knot, and his fiery red hair adds to his menace. He wears a dark blue gi in Street Fighter 2 and brown battle gauntlets. He wears a black belt and brown sandals, and on his neck hangs his deceased master's prayer beads, the master he killed with his own 2 hands. When designing Akuma, several elements were considered, but one of the most visually striking is the Neo from Buddhism. He shares similarities to them, and even though his design is simple, it is terribly effective. Akuma's simplicity is perhaps what makes him scary, and this is mostly due to his face. Akuma's face is cruel, and even on your pixelated screen this is clear. His skin is dark, and his eyes red. Even though he has no eyebrows to speak of, Akuma's eyes are permanently curved in an evil slant. All of these contribute to his foreboding aura, and the cherry on top is the kanji inscription on his back, which refers to immortality. We hope he comes back for Street Fighter 6, and it will be interesting to see what design choices they make with him then. Our next entry is Zeku. So, stance characters aren't a new thing for Street Fighter, as we've had Gen in Street Fighter 4. Incidentally, Gen also filled the old man trope in Street Fighter 4, the wizened old master who showed up the youngins. Gen's design was admittedly generic, but we have none of that with Zeku. Zeku first appeared in Street Fighter Alpha 2, but only became playable in Street Fighter 5. He was the 38th Grandmaster of the School of Bushinryu Ninjutsu and also Guy's teacher. Guy would take over to become the 39th Grandmaster, which led Zeku on a journey to reinvent himself. All of this is impressive, but Zeku's most impressive trait is his ability to switch between his normal self and a much younger and faster version of himself. The design choices for Old Man Zeku are great, as he has that wild hair that really fits him, along with his dark blue long sleeve ninja outfit on which he also wears a yellow and green Japanese vest known as Jimbaori. He pairs this with an orange kerchief which he wears around his neck, and matching orange Opa finger gloves. A mild gripe I have is that the gloves don't really stand out and could have looked a little better in a darker shade, but that's really minor, and Zeku looks really good. As for young Zeku, he bears a striking resemblance to Strider Hiryu, a character from one of Capcom's other titles, Strider. It has been theorized that the two are connected somehow, but there is nothing in the canon that points to this. That this link remains speculation. But where Zeku really shines is in his gameplay. Zeku's ability to switch seamlessly between old and young while performing combos is testament to how well designed he is, and he is easily one of my favorite Street Fighter characters design-wise. Sakura. Sakura is a character whose earnestness and wholesomeness makes her a delight for most fans. Initially joining the cast of Street Fighter Alpha 2, Sakura has made regular appearances in the Street Fighter games, including Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. She is a self-proclaimed student of Ryu and has always harbored a fascination with fighting. In the comics, it was revealed that she was originally a fan of E Honda, but after watching him get demolished by Vega and seeing how strong Ryu is, she switched loyalties pretty quickly. Sakura was designed by industry veteran Akira Yasuda, who was fondly called Akuma. When he first pitched her as a character for the Street Fighter roster, she wasn't well received, but this opinion would shift later when Akira's boss saw Sakura's design and loved it. Sakura is a simple character who wears a Japanese sailor school uniform. She also wears a red, midriff bearing top paired with red sparring gloves and red Converse style shoes. She also has a white headband, a gift from Ryu, and short spiky brown hair. This might not seem revolutionary now, but back when she was released, Sakura was a hit. In fact, she is still a huge hit today. According to a poll taken back in 2017 by Capcom with over 150,000 votes, Sakura came out as the most popular Street Fighter character, ahead of the likes of Chun-Li, Ryu, and even Makoto. Sakura changed her look in Street Fighter 5, ditching her old uniform for more big girl clothes while still keeping her sparring gloves and headband. She still looks amazing, and I love Street Fighter decided to age her a bit, but her first outing remains my favorite. Rounding off our list is Urien. Urien has been around for a bit, making his first appearance in Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, where we are introduced to him and his insane brother Gil. While Gil is, in my opinion, terribly designed, I mean, what in the world is this? He looks like a New York Giants superfan who spray painted himself before a big game. On the other hand, Urien's character design was a lot more simplistic. He wore a simple loincloth. That's it. We must of course also consider his impressive physique, imperial gait, and the little jewel in the middle of his forehead. This was all well and good, but he really got an upgrade in Street Fighter V. In place of the loincloth, Urien wears a pinstripe suit with an open collar purple shirt. The jewel remains in place, as does his arrogance. Urien is a fine example of not doing too much to get the best out of a character design. In his earlier iterations, he also wore a suit, a brown one or a white one if you're going by his ending. But he always would rip it up before the fight starts. In Street Fighter V, while you can use his classic form, his suited variant just looks a lot better. Urien is vain, and he thinks the world of himself. This is clearly portrayed in his outfit and the way he carries himself. His moveset has a touch of arrogance to it, and his overall design just screams cool. And there you have it. That's the video. As I said earlier, this is a subjective list. Let us know what your favorite Street Fighter character design is, and don't forget to like and subscribe to DashFight. Till next time, this is Jammers, and I'll see you later.